Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. I hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are. Guys, we're going to be looking at VRA. Yesterday we hit the nice new highs, but even today, I believe today is in the last 24 hours, we've hit a new all-time high, everyone. So as you can see, the wick kindly touched this orange line that we put in to confirm. So we're looking at a new high of 0.069. So congratulations to everyone holding VRA for however long you've been holding it for. And in general, of course, we've had a fantastic ride with this project in the past. And certainly recently, I mean, look at this. We'll just pinpoint this point again. 20th of July to the most recent top points. In fact, I'm just going to adjust it to this all-time high that we've had yesterday or today. So it's around about 847% increase. Absolutely phenomenal. And we've even covered in the previous video, if you remember, all the way back here, we just did a little kind of a judgment around these kind of marks here in the lower regions of, like, say, this time last year. Let's just call this 13,000% gains, guys. So congratulations, as we said in the previous video, and just to reiterate that for those that haven't watched it or are new to the channel or new to this video, we just suggested that if you were purchasing maybe $1,000, or you can work this out quite easily if you were only putting 100 in or 50 in, whatever, you would get a substantial amount of VRA for your money. And look at those kind of returns that you would be seeing right now. And that's just now. Now, we have a price prediction personally here at the Whales of Wall Street around 21 cents. Could you imagine, right, tell me anything anywhere in this world, in stocks and this, that and the other, where you could put $1,000 in to something like a year ago and have the potential to have at least $500,000 out of this in 1 year from $1,000. It's absolutely mental if you think about it. And I know it's not just VRA. There's a load of other projects that have that similar principle. And it's not actually, to be fair, until you pull the chart out that you realise like what kind of area we are in majority of the whole entire cycle. Now, people talk about the bear markets and bull markets, etc., and that we're arguably entering like in the next couple of months the big runs before a potential bear market for the next year or two or something. But it's yet to be seen exactly how that pans out, because I have a strong belief as well. Yes, of course there'll be corrections, absolutely. To the extent of previous cycles, I'm not so sure, because we're in an adoption period now. Okay, so the other previous cycles kind of understandable in that perspective, but I think it's really interesting to see what happens. That's why we always say, like, take profits along the way, because you just never know when these tops are going to happen. And of course, and someone said in the comments, actually, I think yesterday or today or earlier today, about they regretted selling early. Like, maybe they sold last year. And at the end of the day, guys, like, if you take aside the price and everything right now, you can look at gains. Like, if you sold loads, like, way back, okay, obviously you're not going to get as many VRA, but you could still have that similar principle going, okay, well, I've got this 1,000 that I made like last year, whatever, I'm going to put it in now. And you then judge your gains perspective of like how much you're going to get from that 1,000. Of course, it would have been better if you kept it in there, but hindsight's a beautiful thing, right? You never know. So there's loads of different strategies that you can think about. But I would say to people, not financial advice, obviously, but don't ever have any regrets. You've made profit. You've made massive gains. Irrespective of whether you think you pulled out early or not. You don't know. Veracity could have fallen apart. You just have no idea in these kind of spaces right now. It's so early. So well done to you. Don't feel negative about it, and have a look at some opportunities and dips and stuff, or certain corrections where you could go and think about like potential more gains on the ones that you've accumulated. So that's what a lot of people do. But anyway, let us know in the comments below what you've been doing with VRA since you first purchased it. Let us know when and what price you got VRA in. I'm really fascinated to know. I thought I was quite good with getting it around sort of 2 cents or so. But yeah, clearly some people were way ahead of the game last year. So fantastic. Congratulations to all of you. I've adjusted this page, by the way, because apparently some people were complaining that our borders were covering things. So hopefully you can see this a bit better. I will obviously be zooming in and out of certain sections as we talk about them anyway. But in general, hopefully you can now see the RSI line. It's not stuck behind me and Steve on this glorious boat at the bottom, labelled OMI, if you haven't noticed already. So guys, VRA, we've had the all-time high in the last 24 hours, absolutely fantastic. We've had a correction, which is understandable as well. Let's just have a quick look at this. So I just wanted to see, if you remember the previous video, we were talking about this area being of real interest. If we could get support around this area of around 5.5 cents, we'd probably push up. We've done that. Look at this nice step process. Last 4 or 5 days before the last 2 days. Look at this. Absolute battle here for that 5.7 cents. Complete resistance. Absolutely beautiful to see. But equally resistance up here. So actually, there is an argument to say, just first of all, actually, let's just go from this point here, how much that was. So that was a nice 15% rise there. So a bit of profit taking, because at the end of the day, guys, if you were taking out 1 cent or 2 cents or whatever, you're probably maybe taking some initial investments out or around about these times. I don't know. People have different strategies. But for me right now, and do you know what, actually, we drew a box in there previously. I wonder if I can just move that across, because it's still actually valid. This was a point of interest of pullback when we got to this top point, and it actually came back down to these areas. But I'm just going to drag it across here because I actually think that's very much in par with obviously the previous sort of mechanism of resistance here at the back. So as we come down, there is a chance that we might dip back down into these areas and test them again. It's not all over, guys, in my opinion. But I'm going to just basically, for me personally, I've got some USDT available, so I'm just going to be cheeky. I'm not going to do it just yet because I've missed that dip. If I'd been watching this a bit more, and I would have seen that's about 50% off a reduction of what happened yesterday, I've missed it. So I'm not going to just jump in for the sake of it. I'll be patient and see what happens. But we're very much dangling right now on, conveniently, this support mechanism here on this macro fib retracement level here. So this is what we drew in last time. I haven't moved this. 6.7 cents. Now, right now, as a recording, we're floating just above that. And the momentum of VRA, guys, is absolutely phenomenal. The belief in it is coming thick and strong. And there's a couple of other things as well, of course. So for me, I'd entered VRA personally for its development in like esports and gaming, particularly around like campaigns and the advertising aspects because of that whole proof of view. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, go and check out our intro video of the reasons why we jumped in and why we think VRA is so good. There's loads of different reasons, obviously, for getting VRA personally, but that was my reason. And I do now like, obviously, they're getting the patent together for about the NFTs, proof of view and proof of purchase kind of things, which is absolutely phenomenal. And these patents last like 17 years, some of them. And that's just the two main ones. I think they've got a multitude of different ones as well that are going in the pipeline. So it's a really unique project in this aspect. And there's, of course, massive opportunity for staking. We'll do a staking video next week, getting people prepared really for if we do go into bear market in a few months' time. It's always good to plan ahead. And if it's something that you're considering, because I'm not staking right now, I've got mine currently sat in the exchange. I know that's sometimes a bit silly to not have it on cold storage separately or whatever. But for me, I'm very much open to that risk, and that's my choice. And I'm just preparing to take some out as and when I can. I'm not going to stake personally because I don't have a gigantic bag. And for one, it's like 2,000 VRA to send across to the VRA wallet to stake, which I think is around 25% APY at the moment. I think it was about 36 the previous year. So around March time next year, we might have a reduction in that APY. Or it might stay the same. Or it might remove completely. I don't know. But the cost of sending 2,000 and then having to send 700, burn 700 as well in putting it back to exchange, it wasn't really worth it. So like it would take me some time to bring that back into fruition and actually gain what I've lost in terms of the fees. So for me personally, I'm waiting. I'm taking advantage of profits along the way, and I'm building a pot to take advantage of VRA if it ever dips back down. So I've taken out my initial investment anyway because I was buying some of them at like 1.7 cents or something. I took some out quite recently in the most recent spikes, and I'm ready to just wait now for maybe a 20 cent mark, 50 cent mark and a $1 doesn't say that that's definitely happening, those price points, but they're my reflection points. I'm not just going to go crazy and do things emotionally. I'm thinking about them, that they're my key targets. Everyone else has different ones. They're mine. Don't look into that too much detail because you have your own plans, right? So just keep an eye on that. But this area is of very great interest right now. If we, like we said down here, like we said back here, if we can maintain this support over the next 2-3 days, I think we'll have a strong momentum pushing this up once more before maybe a possible correction once Bitcoin tails off again, because no doubt that will start flying again soon, I'm sure. So For me, there is opportunity maybe in this next day or two for a couple of dip downs or whatever. But generally speaking, I think we might have some closes over this area. And if we do that over today, tomorrow, and possibly into Tuesday or earliest, hopefully, we'll start seeing even more volume kicking in. So what you've seen is the reduction. That's gently retraced even today, showing you the strength behind this, guys. There is a lot of volume going in on a daily basis now. Far outweighing the going out. We haven't seen the big wave of going out since this period here, 8th of September to the 1st of September, and that was because we had another meteoric rise in the past. So I'm just going to zoom in on this MACD so you see what I'm talking about here. So we're very much in a very nice bullish momentum. We absolutely bounced off this support line. Look at that. So we're way off here. So I don't like to see massive gaps around these areas too much, because it does mean sometimes we're going a bit too bullish, and then you might have a massive correction, and that stings a lot of people. We don't want to see too much of that, but what I would like to see is a gradual gap. So just this being like as it is, moving in a continuous format, because here we've had the rejection, we've had a nice bounce back off, and now it's a question of like trying to push us to the next level. So if we look at the RSI down here, I'm just going to pull that up so you can see this bit as well. We're floating around that 69, 67 mark. For me, that's plenty of room left in the tank to push up. We went to the heights around here of about 77. That wasn't really high enough for me, in my opinion. I think we're gearing up to push this up again to another level. And I think once that happens, I'll definitely be taking some profits. And that could arguably start reflecting around that sort of top end of 8 cents into 9 cents criteria, because I think we're going to see a lot of resistance around the 10 cent mark anyway, because that's a nice rounded number. So I'm just going to jump ahead, guys, actually, and just stick this in here for the purpose of the future. I'm not saying exactly when it will happen, but arguably it could happen sort of mid to end of December anyway. But let's just put in a general price points that I'm interested in perspective. That sort of 9.7 cents mark and between sort of arguably around 92. This is an area of interest for me to start taking some good percentage profits. That's a key target area that I'm thinking about, because 10 cents is going to be a rounded barrier, a psychological barrier, in my opinion. And I think we'll gradually get there. I think we're gearing up for it. We're pushing this 7 cent mark. Look at that. Like today, for example, literally at 0.01 of a cent off. Absolutely crazy. And we're really going in that nice momentum. Like I said, I'm sure there'll be some corrections along the way. That's a good opportunity to accumulate or do whatever you need to do. But I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there in the next month, within the next month or so. Let us know what you think. But I think that's a good area for me personally to be looking at taking some profits out of the ones that I've been getting from like the 1 or 2 cent mark. And I'll be keeping a massive stash left over, because I do think personally that we could at least achieve that sort of around that 20 cent mark. Some are saying more, some are saying like between 50 and $1, depending on the exchange listings, the tier 1 exchange listings that are supposedly happening in Q4. That's yet to be seen, but you've just got to take sometimes those bits of information as a pinch of salt. Plan ahead, plan 2 different plans, like literally one that's, okay, if I think it's going to do this based on historic data of launch times. And to be fair, actually, I did say, to be fair, a couple of videos ago that I would do a video around what happens when tokens get launched on exchanges or particular exchanges. So we'll actually do a separate video on that. I didn't want to just focus that on VRA. I wanted to show you guys a few examples. So hopefully that launches maybe tomorrow or Tuesday latest. We'll have a look at that. But it's really interesting to see the development of a project's price when it goes on to really proper tier 1. And to be honest, I think KuCoin is a really good exchange. It's a massive exchange in my opinion. I'm not sure why people don't always consider it as a tier 1 or something, but of course Binance is the big one. Coinbase as well. Coinbase will no doubt take an eternity to put VRA on their system, but Binance is clearly in our minds probably the one that everyone's anticipating. It's going to be very interesting to see that. But back to this point, guys, before we wrap this video out, a couple more things. So as I said, 6.7 cents is this big support area that we're trying to achieve. We're doing it so far. If we can do it 2-3 days in a row, I truly believe we can push this to another new height and well over that 7 cents quite quickly, and maybe towards that 10 cents even quicker than I thought we would do, perhaps around that mid-November mark. So let's keep an eye on that. Weekly, 19% up. You see here on the right-hand side, I'm referring to these at the bottom right. 19% up on the week. 112% up on the month, 484 on the 3 months. Year to date, guys, year to date, 14.5%. 14,500%. That is mental. 1 year, 12,500%. This is crazy. I love VRA. I'm sure you do. If you do, smash that like button like Hulk. We're going to go now, guys. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next VRA update. I'm so excited. I've got my letters mixed up. And hopefully we'll probably cover this. Maybe we might have to do it tomorrow, but we'll definitely do one by Tuesday, because I'm really interested to see, can we get that mechanism of support like we have done in these 2 other areas recently as well, and take this to another level. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next VRA video. Bye bye.